meteorologist Chris Boone.
We saw those cooler temperatures yesterday afternoon, just a little bit below average. Actually continued to see those below average conditions last night, and even getting into that afternoon today, though we did see an increase in those temperatures as compared to what we did see through yesterday afternoon. We're already starting to cool down into those cooler temperatures through the evening. Actually saw that almanac for this afternoon. Saw that afternoon high reach that 85. Just a little bit below that average of 90. Those lows last night, 63 as compared to the average of 65. And we'll see those just a little bit above average as we go into those overnight hours tonight. Actually still seeing some of those showers across the majority of the state, especially focused towards the Panhandle. They're starting to move south, looks to be headed towards the Concho Valley, and so are these ones. Seems to be headed just a little bit off towards the east, hopefully going to bring some rain into the Concho Valley. Actually zooming in to where we expect to see some of those showers. Actually still seeing some of those severe thunderstorm watches for those northern portions of the Concho Valley, especially out in Coke County, as well as Ballinger and Coleman. Those are going to be the places that are going to possibly see some of those more severe storms throughout some of those areas. Actually looking at how this afternoon we saw some of those clear skies through much of that afternoon, and then we saw some of those clouds really start to move in, and this is those cooler conditions that's going to bring possibly some of those severe storms for those overnight hours once again for us tonight. And that current temperature right now, we're sitting at 75, dew point at 65, feeling a little humid out there, humidity sitting at 71%, and those winds right now out of the south at 8 miles per hour, and that's where we've seen them for the majority of this afternoon as we've started this work week. And those current temperatures across the Concho Valley, all of us sitting in those 70s, seeing a lot of those upper 70s, 78 in Ballinger, a lot of 76s, 77 in Junction, a little bit cooler off towards the west, 72 in Ozona, as well as 71 out in Big Lake. Though all of us seeing that increase as compared to what we saw at this time yesterday, seeing about a 5-degree increase for much of us. And looking towards those southern parts, and actually some of those northern parts as well, they've seen a little bit of a bigger jump in those temperatures. A 10-degree increase in Coleman, 11-degree increase out in Junction. That's even remaining present for the entire state. Still seeing those warmer conditions across the state. 85 still holding on to those 80s out in El Paso, 83 in Laredo, and cooling down just a little bit faster for those northern portions of the state, 63 in Amarillo, though the rest of us sitting in those 70s, but we'll all continue to cool down through these next several hours. Actually, for those next 12 hours, back into those 60s for those lows. We'll be there for the majority of the night, back into those 60s, and then we'll start to warm up as we look towards that morning tomorrow. And that forecast for those overnight hours, 64 for that low with those isolated storms, hopefully reaching into the Concho Valley. Those winds out of the southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And tomorrow, those temperatures really start to increase back into those 90s, 92 for that afternoon high. Again, seeing some of those rain chances, especially for those later evening hours, and those winds out of the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour, and then increasing as we look towards tomorrow night, and shifting out of the southeast at about 15 miles per hour. And then look at that severe weather outlook for today. A little bit of an update actually reaching into the Concho Valley, some of those slight areas, for those slight portions, possibly to see a little bit of those increased severe storms. And that's not saying that those storms are going to happen. That's just saying that if storms were to develop here, they would have the possibility to just be a little bit more severe than in other places. Actually looking at some of the storms that we should be seeing, though, as we look at that futurecast, seeing those very clear skies, but as we look towards those overnight hours, hopefully seeing some of those storms start to reach into the Concho Valley, especially for those northern portions, once again for the Concho Valley. And we'll look at that 7-day forecast, still holding on to the chance to see some of those showers through these next several days, as well as those warmer temperatures in those 90s. A little bit of a cool down for that Thursday as well as Friday in those 80s, but back to those 90s by the weekend.